The Trump administration has recently announced plans to hurt the Endangered Species Act to protect endangered species. Hang on, did I read that right? Despite the fact that the Republican president, Richard Nixon, passed this bill in 1973, Republicans have been trying to gut it for decades, preferring short-term economic benefits over preservation of the biodiversity on this planet. Because of these recent attacks, I thought it'd be a good idea to look back and see how the Endangered Species Act, or ESA, passed in the first place, what it actually does, and the impact so far. Let's get started. Oh, and if you're curious as to what attacks the Trump administration has engaged in, we posted a news video about it and something on our Instagram page. Go check it out. So let's focus on the ACT part of the Endangered Species Act, or ESA. The ESA is a bill that is designed to carry out the provisions of the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, or CITES. Basically, it's a multilateral treaty designed to protect species that are at risk of going extinct. One of its purposes was to protect species that are endangered as, quote, a consequence of economic growth and development untempered by adequate concern and conservation. This is important to keep in mind because Trump and Republicans are trying to weaken the ESA for the sake of economic growth. The attacks today are unfortunate since the bill was signed into law in 1973 by President Richard Nixon with bipartisan support. It still has bipartisan support. Around 90% of Americans want a stronger version of it passed. It requires federal agencies to consult with parts of NOAA and or the Fish and Wildlife Service to make sure their actions don't risk endangered species or leading to their extinction. The Fish and Wildlife Service, which is part of the Department of the Interior, and the National Marine Fisheries Service administer the act. The actual bill itself is only around 48 pages, but it's had a large impact. Let's look at that impact. According to the World Wildlife Foundation, 99% of the species listed on the ESA have avoided extinction. The Act currently protects around 1,600 species of plants and animals. Right now, we'll talk about one of those success stories, the black-footed ferret. There were 5.6 million of these adorable demons in the late 1800s, but they're listed as endangered in 1967. They nearly went extinct due to the elimination of prairie dog colonies by habitat destruction, shooting, and plague, as ESASuccess.org tells. This downward spiral continued until they were extirpated, and yes, I had to look up that word, from the wild in 1974, thought to be extinct in 1979, but were rediscovered in 1981. This is where the story gets better, and the success story is applied. The black-footed ferret began to make a slow recovery after efforts by conservationists. It's still listed as endangered today, but in 2013, it was estimated that 1,200 of them live in the wild. Far cry from 5.6 million, but still an impressive recovery. What does the ESA have to do with this? Well, in 1988, the Fish and Wildlife Service created a 161-page plan to bring the ferrets away from extinction. It's extremely detailed, and without plans like these in the ESA to back it up, it's likely that these animals would have probably went extinct. And that's just one of the countless stories of the ESA saving a species. So what happens when the ESA fails, or when an ignorant leader attempts to strip endangered species protections? Well, then the people have to step in. Here's some ways to protect endangered species today. I highly recommend donating to groups such as the World Wildlife Foundation, whose purpose is to protect wildlife worldwide. I also recommend some common sense stuff. For example, please protect wildlife habitat. If you're going on a trail or a vacation, stay on the beaten path and don't go harass animals that might be threatened or endangered. Do not buy products made from or with endangered species. That should go without saying. And for God's sake, vote. If far-right Republicans could, they would repeal the Endangered Species Act. We need people in the government who will protect this act and all the species it protects. So wrapping up, the Endangered Species Act is probably one of the 5 most important environmental laws in American history. It has a 99% success rate, protects around 1,600 species, and is critical to the biodiversity of this country. We all need to resist people such as Trump who want to weaken it in any way. If anything, we need to bolster this bill, especially with the 6th mass extinction coming right now and even happening right now. I'll ask you again to donate to any candidate in your area who supports the bill, as well as to groups such as World Wildlife Fund and Nature Conservancy. There will be a list in the description down below. Thank you for watching today's Ecocentric video. If you want daily environmental media, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at We Are Ecocentric. And that's it, to save the world. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I don't care about endangered species. We got millions of species on this planet. Why do I care if one goes extinct? Really? Thought you were pro-life.